What's going on, guys? We're back. I've been gone for about a week, and I've gotten a lot of messages, people reaching out. Hey, how you doing? You okay? Yes, all good. Thank you guys for reaching out. I've been in a drone class. I want to tell you guys about it. I took a week-long drone course, an FPV basic drone course through through Third Assault Brigades, which is now technically Third Army Corps. Kill House is what it's called. So we're gonna do. Let me preface something. We're gonna do a little interactive, kind of informative style video. Okay, I want to talk about what it's like being in Ukraine in 2026. We are now in year 5 of this war, and what it's like being a foreigner here, how to get to Ukraine, what to do as a foreigner here if you're still looking to come out here. Okay, so sorry. All right, before we jump into it, there was a couple things I wanted to cover. We're gonna go over the map. First, check it out, guys. Okay, you can't see it, so don't check it out. One of the first things I wanted to cover is that we are at almost 40,000 subs on YouTube, which is incredible. Can't thank you guys enough for that, seriously. We're on our way to 50,000. Help me push to that 50. Let's get there. Any ideas for content that you guys want to see, let me know. We are always going to be doing different kinds of training out here if we're not currently active in a unit, and that's what we're doing right now. And I also want to be bringing as much valuable content to you guys here that I can as well. So with that said, like, share, subscribe, but also we've got this. We have the merch that you guys were asking for. A lot of you guys have already picked stuff up, so I gotta say thank you. Huge shout out. We got the hoodies. We got two different hats. We got the trucker hat, and we've got the baseball cap that's kind of worn, and then we got the t-shirt. So check this stuff out if you guys want. If you don't, that's fine too. But this is for the people who've been asking for it. It's really cool. It's great quality. It's embroidered. There's cool little things like on the sleeves of the shirt and the hoodie. It's got embroidered, different breed on the front. It's embroidered. The hats are embroidered, just like this one. So yeah, check that out if you want. All right. Now, this is the class I was telling you that I had just taken, or I have been in these past 6 days. That's why I've been gone. And I did record some videos to post while I was away, but the place I was staying had shit internet and just didn't work out that way. So check it out. Again, this is 3rd Assault Brigade's Kill House. So they have a number of courses that you can take. I want to kind of talk about it, tell you my experience, and tell you if I recommend it or not. Stand by. All right, this is the one we took. When I say we, it was me, Pastor, and Baby. You guys know Pastor and Baby. So we took the FPV Basic. It's funny because we have spent most of our time here in Ukraine, at least on the last deployment, running away from these things. We have not been. Oh, this is a little. Let's show this. Can we show this? Maybe not. Is there any audio on it? No. All right, but this is where we were. This is really cool. We spent most of our time running away from these things, so now we got to be on the other side of things, and it was really cool because we didn't have much experience with FPVs or drones really in general. Baby had some experience with the dropper style drones, but Pastor and I had no experience as far as flying these things. So first impressions, the first or 3rd Assault Brigade facilities are pretty damn amazing. I've been in this country for a few years now, or going on 3 years now, and I've seen a lot of different military bases, facilities, training courses, stuff like that. What 3rd Assault Brigade has, and we were just at the one in Kyiv. Looks like they have it in Kyiv, Lviv, Odessa, and Cherkasy. What the facility they have in Kyiv is incredible. They've got barracks and housing for recruits. They have physical training courses for PT. They've got cafeterias. They got cafes all over the grounds of the base. They have an indoor 4-story actual CQB kill house with airsoft guns. You go in there with the boys or with your unit. excuse me, rent some airsoft guns, and then you can traverse this 3 to 4 story kill house that has a ton of different like walls and CQB obstacles in there to just practice your CQB. So really cool. And then they have the actual kill house, which is this massive warehouse. Let's see right here, right there, boom. I wish I could pause this or interact with it, but right there, big warehouse with all these different obstacles. And then they've got a bunch of instructors, and the instructors were very, very cool. Shout out to FPV basic instructors, man. They they knew very little English, and they were extremely welcoming of us three Americans who know very little Ukrainian. And they were just like, by the end of the course, it was like family. Like that's such a cliche to say, right? But it was true. And these instructors are just really, really cool. I can't talk them up enough. Okay, so the FPV basic is really basic. So people who already have some FPV knowledge, they've got some hours, like a lot of hours in a simulator, for example. This may not be your course. We learn about the basics. We learn about the parts of an FPV, the rotors, the batteries, the different antennas, the different signals, stuff like that. Also, there is a day that we cover the vampire style drones because they have a vampire there in the facility that we get to look at, and one of the vampire experts, actually, it's the guy who started vampire tactics in Ukraine. The vampire drones are the big Baba Yagas, the massive agricultural style drones that drop huge payloads. So there's a day that they cover that, but mostly it's FPVs, and you do a lot of time on the simulator with an actual remote FPV remote on a laptop, and the simulator is very similar to flying a real FPV. There's tons of different simulators. The one that we used was Liftoff. Seems like that's pretty much widely used for training out here. Um, and then in between doing your simulator, the instructors are walking you through different things to do in the simulator. Hey, land on this. Hey, go fly inside that barn and do a 360 and then fly out, right? If you can do these certain things, the instructors will decide. Basically, you pass certain tests they give you on the simulator, then you can go out in this facility and fly the real FPVs. And then they'll tell you, hey, go through these obstacles, go over to the tank, go hover next to this chevron in the back on the wall, things like that. Um, really cool though. So overall, dude, I want to give the course. I'll give the course like an 8 out of 10, and I only give it an 8 out of 10 because it's not designed for English speakers, but it's exactly that. It's not for English speakers. It's for Ukrainian civilians and Ukrainian service personnel. So do with that what you will, right? It's I don't want to dog them too hard on the English portion because they don't necessarily claim to provide that service. Um, Now, something that was really disappointing for me and the boys was we wanted to jump in this FPV Pro. It's an advanced course for civilians and military personnel who have FPV drone flying skills and want to improve their skills. And let me preface by saying this: we just want to learn drones. We've been fighting against drones metaphorically and physically for a while now, and it's time to get with the times, man. Drones are only becoming more and more prevalent on the battlefield. We know that, and it's time to stop fighting against it and join, at least learn more about them. So that's why we're taking these courses. But oh, sorry. um so what was disappointing was this FPV Pro class, man. We were really excited about this. They had us all lined up. We were going to take it, and they told us the day before, a couple days before we were going to start it, that they're no longer accepting foreigners into the FPV Pro course. No explanation as to why. It's just no more foreigners. So that was really disappointing because we were excited to take that. We've heard really good things about it. It's one of the reasons we were taking it because other people that we met over there at the 3rd Assault Brigade facility base, who have taken it loved it. Also, massive shout out, dude. I met multiple of you guys out there. I should have mentioned this already. I forgot. I met multiple of you guys, actual viewers from this channel, out there at the Third Assault Brigade base, and you guys are just. It's so cool to meet you guys. You make me feel like a fucking celebrity out here when I'm just walking to and from a course or to the lunch cafeteria or whatever, and someone's like, "Vegas." Saxon, Vegas, and I turn around, they're like, dude, I watch your channel. I'm like, what? It's so cool, dude. I don't think I'll ever get over that. So I wanted to shout out to you guys. I'm not gonna throw your names out there, obviously, because you guys are all in either training for combat roles or combat support roles or whatever. So, but huge shout out, thank you. It was amazing seeing you guys. So that's kind of that was that was our experience with the Third Assault Brigade drone course. Overall, great experience. I would recommend just be prepared. There is no English translation. So be prepared for that. Whether that's bring your phone to be able to translate the Ukrainian into English, and after the course, go over that. If it's just you, go over that. If it's you and your team, you guys all go over that. Whatever. But great course. All right, let's talk about. We're already 11 minutes in. I hope you guys like this kind of content. But let's talk about being a foreigner in Ukraine 2026. The war rages on. People are dying. Civilians are still getting hit by Russian Shaheeds and ballistic missiles that are fired into fully populated civilian areas, cities, villages, towns, and then the soldiers on the front lines and in the rear, the logistics and supporting roles are all very much still fighting and still taking casualties and still taking KIAs. In fact, while we were in Kiev taking this course, we attended another one of our two of our um, brothers' funerals who were in Azov's International Battalion with us and were KIA. So it's very much still happening. Now, the reason I say that is because there's a lot happening in the world with what's happening with specifically the United States and their more aggressive, whether you agree with this kind of their policy or not, it's happening. Their more aggressive stance on things like El Mencho, Maduro in Venezuela, El Mencho in Mexico, recently Ecuador, possibly Cuba soon, and then really the biggest thing is full scale war, pretty much with Iran, and this combat operation, Epic Fury, in conjunction with Israeli defense forces. So there's a lot happening, and the eyes are very much the eyes of the world are no longer on Ukraine, and the eyes of the world are only on Ukraine every once in a while. When something big happens, the eyes of the world seem to glance back over at Ukraine. They're like, wait, that's still happening? Okay, donations and, forums and meetings and big governmental forums and stuff, conventions take place. And then people get tired of it, get bored with it. Everyone forgets that they're still fighting in a full scale war and just travesty happening here in Ukraine. People forget about it for a few months and then boom, it comes back again. But now there's so much happen. That was before there was so much happening in the world. Now there's so much happening in the world. There's much less um, optics on Ukraine. So that's something to be aware of as a foreigner coming to Ukraine. Probably for multiple reasons, but just keep that in mind. Now, when I first came to Ukraine in January 2023, the International Legion it was still new. Sorry, was still new. It had started in March. It started pretty much right when the full scale invasion happened, March 2022, or end of February 2022, excuse me. And when I arrived, it was very new. It was not very organized, but they were getting things together, giving foreigners some real basic infantry training. Here's your AK, here's how you shoot it, here's a grenade, here's how you throw it, PT in the morning, and just your basic military kind of structure. You know, your 3 meals a day. You wait in line. You pick up your food. You pick up your water. You eat. You shower or whatever. You go to sleep. All that kind of stuff. Okay, fast forward now. We're in 2026. The International Legion, as I knew it, has been completely disbanded, and now there is only the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine Legion, DIU Legion. DIU Legion consists of multiple smaller units of foreigners who are combined with larger Ukrainian units. Um, there are not very, there are no only foreigner units in the DIU Legion anymore, or at all. So some of these units I've heard really good things about. Some of these units I don't hear the best things about. And then some of these units are like all South American speakers, for example, with some Ukrainian commanders. So it's definitely evolved and it's definitely changed and evolved and adapted over the years. But I will say that things are much more structured now than they were in when I was in the previous Legion in 2023. Aside from the International Legion, there's also other units that can be joined in Ukraine for foreigners, such as Azov's International Battalion that I helped start end of 2024 through 2025, and then I deployed with those guys in the first combat deployment summer of 2025. This one's tough for me because maybe there's some bad blood between some of that new command that came into play towards my time of leaving the International Legion. The International Battalion of Azov. I didn't plan on leaving. I found out that my contract was broken for me by the new commanders who had taken position, and for one reason or another. And I'm not saying it by any means. Am I not at fault or anything? But there's a little bit of bad blood there, and I was able to confirm that over the this weekend when we went to our brother's funeral, and I saw some of the commanders there, and it was strange, but you know, it is what it is. We're all here for the overall goal of helping Ukraine. So my experience in Azov's International Battalion is 100% different than what the experience that you're going to have there. What I'm not able to do is fully endorse it like I was before when I was serving as a combat medic there. I was actively recruiting and I was actively going on missions with the soldiers of that unit. So I'm not going to recommend it. Just like I wouldn't openly recommend some of these other teams that I don't know about in the DIU Legion. There are some teams that I would recommend, and a lot of that stuff we keep in our Discord. I have a little bit of an ongoing list, or we do over there in Discord, of units that we do recommend through people that I know and trust that have been serving in that unit for a while, or they're the team leaders of that unit, so on and so forth. Also, something new that we're going to be doing here is I've been getting some of these team leaders from these units reaching out, including I recently spoke with the team leader of Athena, who is I've just only heard good things about. We recently reacted to a video of theirs, a combat operation of theirs, and it was really professional, and I was really impressed with the way their unit was ran, especially with their command element. And so with their commander, I'm going to do a talk with him, maybe a little interview, and then I'm going to start posting some of this on my channel too, so you guys can, those of you who are actively thinking about coming here to fight, can come on here and see, oh, okay, here's Athena, this is cool, or oh, here's Omega, this looks cool, or here's Wave Raid, this is cool. Those are a few of the ones that I'm currently recommending to foreigners. So that said, there's absolutely still units here in Ukraine that are viable for foreigners, and I would say are a good fit for a foreigner coming here looking to fight. Now, infantry as we know it, as we've known it in the past decades, if not century, is completely different. the role of the infantry is now becoming smaller and smaller. And what we saw at the beginning of this war was full infantry units going on operations or missions, and they would be supported by drone teams or different supporting elements like that. Now, the infantry is more of a supporting element, and the forward-most operational unit are the drone teams. The Not physically, like the drone teams aren't like, storming trenches, but the drones are first in. The drones are the first ones to see combat. The drones are the first ones to soften up the target, and then you'll see small infantry units, well trained assault or storm units, go in and finish the job, or complete that objective, whatever it was. So, the role of the modern infantryman is completely different. It's something to keep in mind. If you're looking, if you're thinking, yeah, I'm gonna go to Ukraine, I'm gonna be in all these cool gunfights and get all this experience and all this close quarters battle and shit, you might, but it's not very realistic. I would say 80% of your time as an infantryman here in Ukraine, if not more now, is running from drones, shooting at drones, running from artillery, um, moving from position to position while being shelled, holding positions while being shelled and hit by our artillery and just all kinds of indirect fire and drones. And then, if you're lucky, you'll stumble into a gunfight. So, and I say lucky because that's what most soldiers want, right? That's what they sign up for. So keep that in mind, man. This is a crazy war, and life expectancy is different than any other war that we've seen. This is a near peer conflict, a near peer war, if not us being the underdogs in this fight, and the enemy being more technologically advanced on certain areas of the front, certain operational areas, and then there's some areas where the Ukrainians have the upper hand. So just keep that in mind, man. I do recommend. I'll never recommend. Okay, yeah. Let me. I don't want to trip over my say the wrong thing here. I'll never recommend somebody leave their safe, comfortable lives back home to come here to Ukraine and potentially die or get horrifically wounded and lose limbs or, anything else. I'll never recommend that. My primary value that I'm trying to impart here is for the people who have already made up their minds, people like me who decided I'm going regardless. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. So many people are like this and they're coming regardless. So the value that I can bring is say, hey, if you're coming no matter what, you probably know the dangers. Check this unit out, do it this way or do it that way to just increase your chances of survival if you are coming out here to be in a combat role. That's where it comes from. It's not like a we want you like Uncle Sam like fucking poster board just trying to pull like 18-year-old kids straight out of high school to come fucking get their legs blown off by an anti-personnel mine in Ukraine. That's not what we're doing. So keep that in mind as well. All right. Lastly, one of the most common questions I seem to get asked here is how do I get into Ukraine? And how much money should I bring to Ukraine? Will the units be supplying my living arrangements while I'm waiting for my contract, stuff like that? Hold on. Okay. What you should know is you're very much on your own until you sign that contract with whatever military unit you're going to. What I mean by that is you're not going to get your flights paid for, any of your travel paid for, any of your living arrangements paid for. That's not what's going to happen. You need to get there. You need to have enough money to expect to survive for at least a few weeks to a couple of months while getting all of your documentation in order and signing your contract. And then that process takes some time because it has to go through a background check in Ukraine through the SBU, which is the internal, kind of like their FBI, I think. And then you'll get your contract made. You'll go and sign your contract. Then it has to be back signed by the commander of your unit, blah, blah, blah. So that can take some time. Some units are doing it faster than others. But have some money saved. And people are like, what's a good amount to bring? It's always different because I've seen people come here with literally a few $100, be able to survive for a long time while they're waiting for their contract because they played it smart. They're buying cheap food. They're staying in hostels that are a couple of USD a night, stuff like that. Then I see people bring thousands of dollars. They come and they make it like a week in Ukraine because they're blowing it on hookers and cocaine and and the most expensive hotels in Kiev, right? So what I think would be a safe bet would be a couple grand. Play it smart. That could last you way longer than you need, and you could also blow through that, right? Just based off of what I had mentioned, how you spend it. Best ways to get into Ukraine. If you're coming from the US, you just need to get a flight to Europe somewhere. Excuse me, to Poland. That's typically going to be to Warsaw or Krakow. Can I zoom in? Oh, here. Hold on. I'm trying something new here. I'm going to try to mark this up. Yeah. Okay. So, is there a back button? Yeah. So, oftentimes, at least from my experience, you'll get a flight to Warsaw or Krakow, and you'll end up having a layover somewhere in the UK or somewhere in Germany. And then from here, you'll get over to one of these, Krakow or Warsaw. Now, once you get to Krakow or Warsaw, you will get out of the airport. Maybe you stay the night in a hotel or something, but then you're going to want to catch a train or a bus to either Lviv or Kiev. Lviv or Kiev. Okay. Now, this part, whether it's Lviv or Kiev, is usually determined by if you're already speaking with a recruiter from a unit. They'll tell you, hey, when you get into Ukraine, come straight to Kiev, meet with us, we'll get your documentation going. Sometimes they want to meet you in Lviv. That part's different. Or if you haven't talked to any recruiters and you're just going to come to Ukraine first, either of those cities are pretty good hub because they're large cities. Kiev's definitely a bigger city. It's going to have more of your military base headquarters, like a 3rd Assault Brigade, Azov, different DIU Legion. But Lviv will also have smaller branches of those recruitment centers as well. So the big thing is you just book a flight to Poland, either Warsaw or Krakow. Once you get there, take a bus or a train into a big city in Kiev. Don't go too far east because you'll end up in fucking war. But go to Kiev or Lviv, and that's where you're gonna end up staying the next few weeks until you get your contract squared away. So this is a long video, man. I wanted to cover a handful of things in this one, and I also want to tell you guys we do have some really cool content coming. I'm going to be able to get back to some regularly scheduled programming as far as some of our combat videos and shit. There's so much content I want to cover now, but I wanted to make this to kind of set a baseline 2026, what it's like to be a foreigner, specifically a foreign fighter. I'm no longer fighting. Most of you guys know that. I don't want to fight. It's not my thing anymore, I don't think. I feel like I'm able to help in some different ways. So, but there's a lot of people that do, and there are multiple ways to go about it. Just got to be smart about it. And I'm always able to be reached on Discord, Instagram. Those links are in the description of this video. And I also wanted to tell you guys about our experience with this drone course. And I guess that was it. So just know I love you guys, and we got a ton of content coming, man. So please like, share, subscribe. Let's blow this channel up. See you in the next video.